Alright, Dean here for Gamer Assault Weekly, and this week I'm going to talk to you about Yoshi's Woolly World. This is the newest game by Nintendo in the Yoshi franchise. It's basically another iteration of Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo, but with the cutesy yarn graphics that you might remember from Kirby's Epic Yarn in 2010, which was actually created by Goodfeel in partnership with Nintendo. And while I'm on the topic of those graphics, that is one thing in this game that actually is very good. The aesthetics and the graphics and just the whole look and feel of everything with the yarn and the felt and the various craft pieces actually is a very unique look for the game. It looks really well, it works really well, it gives the whole thing a very bright and colorful feel to it. It just ends up being a beautiful game. That being said, that's probably one of the only really redeeming qualities of the game. As you get more into it, one of the other things you notice right off the way in most games is the music, and unfortunately the music in this one is just pretty bland. It's not necessarily bad, it's just that it's not terribly memorable. Whereas Yoshi's Island had one of the best soundtracks I can recall for a Super Nintendo game, this game here has a soundtrack that as soon as you turn off is completely erased from your memory. And unfortunately the rest of the game isn't much better. The level design is also very just bland. A lot of them are very linear and straightforward. Even if you're going for the 100% completion of the game, trying to find all the secrets and the hidden pieces and icons, it's still, you don't have to go far out of your way. It'll take maybe 2 run-throughs before you find everything. It's just very easy and dumbed down. One of the things is they were trying to appeal more to the kids and the whole family-friendly environment. You can tell the game was made more open with a wider audience in mind. It does have an easy setting where you take almost no damage and Yoshi has wings to make everything very simple. So it is nice that they geared it toward little children. You could help them play, you could get other people into a game that might otherwise not be able to handle a platformer like this. But it takes so much of the challenge out that it might not be fun for the regular gamer that would otherwise want to play it. So while they gained one audience, I think they inadvertently lost another one. Also, this is another game where Nintendo did add amiibo support, but just like with pretty much every other game they've implemented amiibos in, all it does is unlock costumes. So when you touch the amiibo to the gamepad, you unlock a costume where your little yarny Yoshi now resembles a yarn pattern of whichever character you touched. Bowser here being my personal favorite. It's kind of nice that some of them look kind of cool. It gives you a little different look and feel for the Yoshi, but it doesn't actually affect the game in any way, so take it or leave it really. Likewise, whenever you find the hidden little yarn skeins in each of the level... Skein? It's a word. You can put the 5 of them together to create a new pattern or just a new look for your Yoshi. There's a lot of those out there to collect, and again, it's just kind of nice to be able to change the look of it. It gives you a little bit of customization, but it doesn't actually affect the game in any way. On the topic of the amiibos, once again, there is actually one amiibo that does have an effect, and that is, of course, the Yoshi amiibo. Whether you're using the Smash Brothers, the Mario Party one, or even one of the new re-released Yarn Yoshis, they all have the same effect. When you touch a Yoshi amiibo to your gamepad, instead of just getting a new design for your character, you actually get a second Yoshi on the screen that will follow you around and mimic your moves. So it makes playing interesting, however, it doesn't necessarily help you. For example, when you stick out your tongue, so does the other Yoshi, and he can swallow you. So more often than not, you're going to inadvertently swallow one of the 2 Yoshis while you're actually trying to eat an enemy. Likewise, if you're trying to maneuver around where there's a lot of jumps or platforms, one of them's probably going to miss a platform, and it's usually more trouble than it's really worth. I know in the second level, there's a part where you turn into Umbrella Yoshi, and while trying to navigate through that, I had the second Yoshi on the screen with me, and ended up missing a bunch of stuff and getting hit multiple times just because, A, I couldn't remember which Yoshi was the one I was directly trying to control and lead as, and B, it's hard to track that many things at once and still avoid everything on the screen. So more often than not, you'll touch this to the gamepad to give it a shot, and then very soon get fed up with it. Luckily, if you touch it to the gamepad again, he goes away. So at least they gave you a way out of that option once you mistakenly use it. Luckily, the game, however easy it may be, isn't necessarily bad. Like, despite being easy and cutesy and more colorful, it's still a fun platformer. It still has some tiny semblance of challenge. It's not going to be the hardest thing you've ever played. Like I said, a lot of things are kind of straightforward, but they're still at least fun. you'll still have a good time going through it. The controls are still pretty tight and responsive, so you can still, you're not going to get overly frustrated. You're still just going to have a fun time playing it. It's very good for just a casual playthrough if you want something to relax with. And like I said before, because they dumbed it down for kids and such, if you have, a significant other or children of your own or someone you want to play a game with, this is a good game for someone that's maybe not that big a gamer. So it's great if you want to involve someone else. But if you're looking for just a really good hardcore challenge or a very puzzling platformer where you need to double back and revisit things multiple times and there's a lot of secrets and hidden challenges and things to do, this might not be the best solution for you. I'd recommend picking it up, but maybe waiting a few months, probably after Christmas or maybe just before. You'll get a good price drop on it and can pick it up maybe between $30 and $40. I'd say that's a little more reasonable than the new price of $50 right now, or $60 if you get it with the Yarn Yoshi. And honestly, that's just about all I have to say about the game. Like I said, it's good, but not great, and probably one you should wait on. So, if you enjoyed the review, stay tuned to this channel and also over on our Gamer Assault Weekly website where we have all sorts of video game news and reviews and everything else you could possibly want. And if you want something a little more live and up to date, down there are links to our Facebook and Twitter pages where you can follow us and get everything delivered right to you. Likewise, if you're not sick of me, and how could you be with a face like this, click over here and that little icon thing that has popped up will actually bring you over to my channel where I do reviews on more retro kind of games and also occasionally do other things like challenges with my friends and just lots of game-related ridiculousness, and I'd love to have you watch it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.